Now, the MSU Federal Credit Union Peach Bowl Special.
The bowl games are usually a reward for the kind of season that you had. And if the reward is a New Year's Six Bowl, that means you had a heck of a season.
Coaches always talk about it, but it's so what, now what? This is the position that we've been put in.
How do you balance bowl festivities, the activities that they have planned for us, but also keeping the main thing, which is we're here to prepare to play a game and to win a game.
Hello and welcome to Atlanta, Georgia, where Michigan State's football team has been spending a lot of time this week getting ready for tonight's Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl against number 12 Pittsburgh. In fact, the Spartans left East Lansing on Christmas Eve in order to get a full week of practice in the Peach State. And while the players fully understand that this is a business trip, they haven't spent all of their time on the gridiron. They've been bopping around the city to see what it has to offer, and as Ian Kress shares, if the competition off the field is any indication of what's to come tonight, Spartans are going to be having a very happy flight back to East Lansing.
In college football, making a bowl game is special. Making a New Year's Six Bowl, well, that's just a little sweeter.
They really roll out the carpet for us. It's a first-class bowl game. Our players are very excited to be here.
Yeah, it's a great day to be great. Remember, if you juiceless, you useless. So bring the juice.
The first 2 days, Michigan State's football team was down in Georgia. It got its Peach Bowl reps at Georgia Tech. And while that was the serious part, the Spartans also had their fair share of fun. Leading up to the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, Michigan State and Pittsburgh competed in the Battle for Bowl Week competition that had the two programs go head-to-head off the field.
I think our guys got a lot out of it, and it's important to have some things to kind of break up the monotony and take your mind off of football.
The first challenge was basketball, and if we're being honest, this one wasn't even fair. Michigan State rolled with Keon Coleman and Malik Carr, who are committed to play basketball for Michigan State once football is over. Then Montori Foster, who had two Division I basketball offers out of high school, as well as Terry Lockett and quarterback Peyton Thorne. And the Spartans picked up a big-time dub, 134-94, with Thorne scoring a team-high at 37 points to pick up the first belt of the week.
I really didn't know that Peyton could hoop like that and shoot. But when he first got out there, they were like the five dudes that were competing got to warm up, and Peyton's just draining them, and the shot looks the same every time. And then what was really funny was like Montori was out there and he was bricking every single, like he was building a brick house out there during warm-ups. And everybody was like, oh, get Montori out here. Like he's gonna miss every shot. And then Montori comes out there and had the second best performance right behind Peyton.
The next day, the two teams went head-to-head in go-kart racing. MSU won that as well, and for the third and final challenge, Family Feud.
Captain Crunch.
MSU also won that and completed the sweep to take home the Battle for Bowl Week belt. Little fun fact for you, the winner of the Battle for Bowl Week competition has gone on to win the Peach Bowl 6 of the last 10 times.
A lot of Michigan State's players have never been to Atlanta, including sixth-year senior defensive end Drew Beasley, who essentially told the younger guys to soak it all in because, quote, once you're done playing ball, you'll never get this kind of treatment again. Tonight will be Beasley's final game in the green and white, and he is not alone. Senior center Matt Allen has been a staple of the Spartans' offensive line over the years, and we go one-on-one with him when we come back.
As we go to break, Farm Bureau Insurance invites you to register to win an exclusive private dinner with head coach Tom Izzo. Go to InsideTheGreensweeps.com to register.
Tap into savings when you use your MSU Federal Credit Union Visa Signature Credit Card. The Visa Signature Credit Card gives you more cash back, like 3% cash back on groceries, 2% cash back on gas, travel, and universities, and 1% cash back on everything else. Simply tap to pay with your MSUFCU Visa signature. It's fast, easy, and convenient. Tap to pay Get more cash back with the MSUFCU Visa Signature Credit Card.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Peach Bowl Special.
Tonight in Atlanta, 10 Spartans will don the green and white one final time, and center Matt Allen is one of them. He decided to come back for a 6th season after only playing in one game in 2020 due to injury, because as he shared with Nick Mantis, playing at Michigan State has always been his dream.
In his 6th year as a Spartan, Matt Allen has been the foundation of a Michigan State offensive line, which led the way for a consensus All-American running back in Kenneth Walker III. It's been a long journey for the Spartan center, but his final season in the green and white has been one of great gratitude.
It's definitely just been a blessing for us. I mean, having Ken be able to come here, that's been a huge blessing as well. He's a great guy and a great person, and that's really all that matters at the end of the day. So I was happy that he was able to come here for us, and just happy that all the guys that were deciding on whether or not to come back for one more year made the decision to stick it out and come back and work as hard as we could to put everything we talked about into action this season. And I'm glad that it's working out, but we still got one more to go.
With one more game in his MSU career, Matt's departure from the program will end more than a decade-long run of an Allen brother being in the MSU offensive line room. From 2011 to 2015, older brother Jack Allen was pushing people around as an All-American center. Then middle brother Brian Allen was a 2-time All-American during his days as a Spartan from 2014 to 2017, and he currently plays for the Los Angeles Rams.
If you look behind you and you look at, your two brothers on there, who would you say has been the bigger influence on you when it came to being a big influence in this room?
Oof, that's tough because, whenever I can, I ask them questions all the time, whether that's Jack or Brian. Both of them have been a huge help. Jack always texts me after every single game, just his comments on how he thought I played, whether it was good or bad, and Brian does the same thing if he's able to watch the game, if he's not in meetings or anything like that. And what I love about both of them is that they're just brutally honest, and I think at the end of the day, that's the best way to grow as a person, and that's the best way to grow as a football player, so I wouldn't want it any other way, and that's just how we've grown up, and that's how I'm going to continue to live my life once I go on from playing football here.
No matter what comes next for Matt, he's graduating with 2 bachelor's degrees, one in communications and the other in food industry management, which became something he took to heart during the height of the pandemic. While being back home in the Chicagoland area, a family friend who owns a meat distribution company asked Matt if he was willing to help deliver some food. Matt said, of course, and moments like this have become part of his calling.
Being able to honestly reach out my hand and help people. And Athletes in Action, we do kind of like a Toys for Tots deal where we send gifts across the country, and I would go to the store and just buy a couple things, and I don't know, it just made me feel better. It made me feel way better than those gifts will make those people feel. So I'm kind of selfish in a way, I would guess. Once I'm done here and I have a little bit more time, that is something I'd really like to focus on, just being able to give back to my community back home and even different cities around the country if I could.
When the news broke that Kenneth Walker will not be playing in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl to focus on the NFL draft, Matt and his offensive line group couldn't have been more supportive of their running back decision. But with the bowl game ahead of them, the Spartans are ready to prove how powerful their offense can be.
The coaches always talk about it, but it's so what, now what? This is the position that we've been put in, and like I said earlier, this is just another opportunity to prove our team, prove our offense, and prove our offensive line, because I know a ton of people too have said that, it's just all Kenneth Walker, and that's, like I said, they don't know. So we just want to have one more opportunity to prove ourselves and prove that we were a big part of the reason for why we had so much success this year.
The Spartans O-line is a veteran group of players featuring a cast that has started in over 200 games. As for Allen, he started in 29 of them, but number 30 is sure to be one of his most memorable ones to date. All right, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, stay with us because we're going to sit down with the voice of Michigan State football.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Peach Bowl Special.
For decades now, George Blaha has had one of the best seats in the house for Michigan State football games. He is the radio voice of Spartan football, and throughout the years, he's also witnessed what bowl games like the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl can do for a program. We had to sit down with him before we left for Atlanta to get his take on the significance of this game.
I think it's very, very significant. Audrey, if you're a player or a coach, you've been working really the whole calendar year to get to this point, and the bowl games are usually a reward for the kind of season that you had, and if the reward is a New Year's Six Bowl, that means you had a heck of a season. And not only that, I think it puts your program on display coast to coast. You're on the front porch of bowl season, as a way to put it. I put it that way anyway.
Would you describe more too of the front porch mentality of why you describe it that way?
I think you want your program to be recognized and recognizable. I'm reminded of the '88 Rose Bowl after the '87 season for George Perlis, when the Spartans beat USC in dramatic fashion, but they showcased great players. The guys that ran out in green and white that day included Lorenzo White and Andre Rison, Percy Snow, Harlan Barnett, and we had a heck of a quarterback in Bobby McAllister. So I'm sure people said, whoa, wait a minute, Michigan State's got players. And probably reminded people of the 60s teams that absolutely dominated in college football.
Now Clinton Jones gets off with a great run here at 26 yards, almost being hemmed in. He jitterbugs and dances inside and out, backpedals. The junior from Ohio shows why he is an All-American, Clinton Jones.
That was a great stepping stone for George and his program, and since then, bowl games, especially bowl game wins, have been good for Spartan football.
What was it like too to see maybe the crowd? Because when you go to a bowl game, you have a lot of fans that love to travel. What does it ignite within people?
You know, the most recent Rose Bowl win over Stanford, I remember the crowd very, very much. There were so many Spartan fans there, and everybody wants to go to the Rose Bowl. It's fun to go to any New Year's Six game or any bowl game for that matter at all, but when you're playing in the Rose Bowl, your fans follow you, and to win that game in kind of exciting fashion behind Connor Cook and some great defensive plays, it was certainly a major step again for the Michigan State program. They were on a winning streak as it was in bowl games, but when that game turned out to be a W and the whole country was watching, made a big difference.
Yeah, it's the granddaddy of them all.
Darn right.
You want to win that one for sure. Yeah, Kyler Ellsworth, he probably had one of the best plays in that game.
Darn right. And you got to give him credit. That's a walk-on kid who played some fullback here, did a wonderful job on both sides of the ball, and kind of showed the spirit of those mentally and physically tough Mark D'Antonio teams. They started turning things around when they beat Georgia in the Outback Bowl in Kirk Cousins' last game. And you know, Darqueze Dennard had a pick six in that game, and Anthony Rashad Phillips blocked a field goal late in that game. In 3 overtimes, by the way, they won the game. So you beat Georgia in a bowl like that. 2 years later, you come back and you win the Rose Bowl. Next thing you know, there was that big Cotton Bowl victory over Baylor, 20-point comeback, I believe, in that game. So suddenly, the Spartans were finding a way to win, and not just finding a way to win, but finding a way to win big games.
Pat Narduzzi this year, Michigan State's football program is going to be going up against him. How do you think that will resonate with the fan base, just because of what Narduzzi was able to do here, but now obviously he has his own program, and then what Mel Tucker's been able to do in 2 short years? How do you anticipate what this will be like when the ball's kicked?
Well, let me just tell you this. Michigan State has always been able to hang its hat on defense when they've been very, very good. We talked about George Perlis's Rose Bowl team. Nick Saban followed him, was a defensive-oriented guy. Mark D'Antonio was a defensive-oriented head coach and had a great defensive coordinator in Pat Narduzzi. So, and now you got Mel Tucker, who's his defensive resume is just outstanding. So, I think it's very appropriate that it's Mel Tucker against Pat Narduzzi in this big bowl game, and I'm glad they're playing the Pitt Panthers. And by the way, Pat's got a heck of an offense. So you give a guy who's a good defensive coach a heck of an offense, good things will happen. Pretty much the same thing that happened this year for Michigan State.
A win for Pitt would be its 12th of the year, while MSU would earn its 11th. It's a win Mel Tucker really wants to close out the biggest turnaround in school history, and you're going to hear from him after the break.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Peach Bowl Special.
In the last decade, Michigan State has had tremendous success in bowl games, winning 6 of its last 8. And it's a trend Mel Tucker hopes to continue in his first bowl game as the Spartans head coach. As he likes to say, we got to keep the main thing the main thing. But they have thoroughly enjoyed their time in Atlanta this week. Well, this is essentially a business trip. It's what Drew Beasley was telling the younger players, that, you know, you have a job to do. The goal at the end of the week is to win the game, but also to the younger guys, soak it in a little bit because, quote, when you're done playing ball, you're not going to get this kind of treatment again. And so what can you say in terms of, you know, just what the experience so far has been like being here at the Peach Bowl?
The experience has been great. The Peach Bowl has done a great job, but everything's been first class. It's really how do you balance the bowl festivities, the activities that they have planned for us, but also keeping the main thing, which is we're here to prepare to play a game and to win a game. And so that's really the challenge. And you know, we have guys that have never been to bowl games before. We have guys that have been to 3 bowl games. And so like you said, those older guys kind of helping the younger guys understand what this is all about is critically important.
What was the favorite event, would you say, of the players that they enjoyed the most?
I don't know. You have to ask those guys, but just my observation, we went to the College Football Hall of Fame, and we were able to, look around, and like we saw Ken Manny in there, Darian Harris. I saw him taking a photo of a plaque, and he was actually in the photo, like making a play. He was like in the background, and he took a picture of that and he tweeted that out. So, everyone was kind of excited to see that. But then we had a competition, after dinner there, which we were able to win, which gave us the belt. And so the guys, I'm sure you saw it on social media, they were, hooping and hollering about it. So I think the guys enjoyed that the most.
It's a lot of hype to live up to in a sense, because apparently whoever wins the belt wins the bowl game. At least that's what history has shown.
Is that what history has shown? Well, I think that's a good sign for the green and white.
Yeah, I know. Well, being too, you knew your guys were going to be jazzed to get into Mercedes-Benz Stadium, but when they actually walked in, what was maybe some facial reactions that you liked, or just some of the expressions that they had, or just maybe what they said about initially walking into the stadium?
It was a little different because I've been here several times and have coached here, so I kind of walked in the building and went into the locker room and got dressed. But as we came in, I saw a couple guys, like before they went to the locker room, they went onto the field and kind of looked around, took some pictures, and when I got out on the field and the players were out there prior to practice, I saw some guys looking around, which was good. And that's one of the reasons why it's good for us to practice here a few times, to get used to the surroundings, because it's a phenomenal building.
Peyton Thorne, he is going to eclipse a pretty big milestone if he's able to do it. He's only 2 touchdown passes away from surpassing Kirk Cousins' 2011 25 touchdown passes. And so, okay, you didn't know that either.
I didn't know that.
Jay Johnson didn't know that either. Okay. Okay, so just the progression that he has been able to make, because it seems like fall camp was not that long ago when you were trying to decide who was going to be the starter, and now here we are, and he's, you know, on the cusp of something like this. The credit goes to Peyton. You know, he works really hard at his craft, and he's dead serious about it. I mean, there's not a day that goes by that he's not super focused on getting better, you know, being the best that he can be. He's very, very competitive. And then, you know, Jay Johnson does a really good job with quarterback play and the fundamentals of the game and developing players, and I've seen him do it, you know, over the years. And so I'm really excited to see how Peyton plays and, you know, what he can do, and then just how he continues to develop, because that's, as a coach, that's really one of the most rewarding things, is when you see guys develop and you see them get better, and you see them have success. That's really what our role, that's what our roles are, to teach, motivate, and develop players. What's one point where he's really developed the most this year, if you had to pinpoint from fall camp to today? From my perspective, just his pocket presence and stepping up in the pocket and knowing when to run and use his athleticism and his legs and his speed, and when to stay in the pocket and continue to read it out and deliver the ball. Well, you're obviously going to be without Kenneth. That's not a surprise. But what running back are you really looking forward to see maybe emerging in this game? Obviously, you have 5 guys from the state of Georgia. Jordan Simmons is one of those guys that might want to, you know, show up and show out in his home state. Sure. But what backs are you looking to step up in this game without Kenneth? Yeah, I mean, Jordan's going to step up. Eli's going to have an opportunity to step up. Harold's going to have an opportunity to step up, and so you know, we're going to play those guys and see how they do. We have a lot of confidence in those guys, and being able to run the plays and you know, hit the hole and, you know the scheme, and also in pass protection as well. So you know, we still have a very talented backfield. All right. Well, good luck against Pitt. Thank you so much. Go Green. Jordan Simmons was Michigan State's leading rusher as a true freshman. So with Kenneth Walker III out of the mix, expect him to do some big things in his home state of Georgia this evening. We hope you enjoy the game, and we'll see you next week.